unpack this some more now with Stephen Buchanan-Clarke in Johannesburg. He's a security consultant at Good Governance Africa. Stephen, welcome to this news hour. President Mohamed Bazoum says there will be consequences for the whole world if this coup is successful. What are some of those consequences we may see?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a very significant event. As we've seen since 2020, this is the fourth country which has suffered a coup, a military takeover, and it has disastrous impacts for security and stabilization in that part of Africa. Niger is situated along a migration route, and many refugees travel through Niger on their way to Europe. It also has a history of transnational crime syndicates who engage in human trafficking and other forms of illicit networking that move through Niger. So the security and stabilization of Niger is very important for the region. Also, of course, against the fight against terrorism, which has seen since the beginning of the year, there's been over 1,500 terrorist attacks in the Sahel, resulting in around 5,000 deaths.
And Stephen,
so it has economic.
And I'm thinking this is also why ECOWAS, the AU, France, the United States all want some sort of stability in Niger because it's so important in the region. But do these groups like ECOWAS and the AU actually have enough power to make a difference, to get President Bazoum reinstated, or even to work with the military junta?
Well, at the moment, as the previous presenter mentioned, ECOWAS is even claiming military action, and they've taken a very strong and unequivocal stance on the coup and need to return to constitutional order. ECOWAS has in the past used military force to return to address constitutional crisis. This happened in the Gambia in 2017. However, Niger is a different situation. Of course, it's a stronger military itself, and it seemingly has the support of juntas in neighboring Chad and Burkina Faso. The other option would be for a diplomatic solution, force the junta into some sort of transitional government, but that also has its risks. As we've seen in Mali, these transitional governments, with the promise of free and fair elections, often delay or completely fall apart, as we've seen in the Sudan.
Stephen, what sort of governments is then actually needed in a country like Niger? It's one of the poorest and least developed in the world, and it's the people of that country right now who are really feeling the effects of what's happening.
Absolutely. Like you say, there's extremely high levels of poverty and suffering in Niger, as well as millions internally and externally displaced. So much of the aid that comes from the EU and other countries, can only be effectively delivered if there is stability. So an escalation of conflict will deeply impact the human security element in Niger. That itself would have wider ramifications for the region if you do start seeing more migration out of Niger and into neighboring states and up into Europe.
Yeah, it certainly will have deep ramifications, as you say, for so many in that region. Stephen Buchanan-Clarke, live to us there from Johannesburg. Thanks so much, Stephen.
Thank you.